Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't seen, I made a community post where I asked you guys, because you know I just recently made a video talking about 10 games like Animal Crossing, if you love Animal Crossing. And I asked you guys over there in my community, if you guys want to see 10 games that are like Stardew Valley, be sure to keep on watching. And of course, if you don't know this, let me know down in the comment section below if you want to see this for other games. I will also make another community post talking about it and letting you guys vote on Coral Island. So first we have on this list is Coral Island. Coral Island, and it's probably the closest modern game to Stardew Valley right now. It has other core mechanics like farming, fishing, mining, relationships, and building your farm. What makes it stand out is like the setting and the story. You're not just farming, you're also helping to restore the island and clean the ocean. So there's this whole underwater system where you're diving and clearing the pollution. It also has a bigger town, more characters, and more updated look visually. So if you want something that feels like Stardew Valley, but a little bit more modern and expanded, this is one of the closest options I can definitely recommend because I'm one of those girls when I play a game, I genuinely don't like the pixelated look, okay? I know it's popular, but I can't get behind the pixelated looking games. Next up we have here is Sun Haven. And this one's basically Stardew Valley, but with fantasy elements. So instead of just farming, you're also having magic, spells, and different fantasy races. There's multiple towns instead of just one. And you can customize your character a lot more. It still has farming and relationships, but it also adds combat and like skill trees, so it feels more like a mix between Stardew Valley and an RPG. So if you like the idea of Stardew but wish it had like a little bit more fantasy and magic, this one would definitely go more deeper into that. I might say this wrong, okay? Because is there even a video where I talk about games and I don't say a game wrong, or I don't say, hey, I might say this wrong? I feel like at this point it's like the new slogan is just, hey, I might say this wrong, but so this one is called The Roots of Pacha, and this one is like Stardew Valley. And this one takes a Stardew like Valley formula, but puts it in prehistoric times. So instead of buying seeds or upgrading tools like normally, you're really discovering and inventing things for the first time as a community. Like there's no typical money system, so instead everything is based on contributing to your village and helping it grow. So it feels more collaborative and less focused on grinding for that profit. You still farm, fish, and build relationships though, but it's more about growing together instead of just your own progress. Before we have is Fields of Mystria, and this one's a little bit newer and been getting a lot of attention lately. It keeps that classic pixel art style like Stardew, but adds more detail and animation. It mixes farming with magic and story progression, and there's a bigger focus on relationships and dialogue. So it's not just about like your farm, it's also about the town and the people that's in it. The world feels a lot more alive and interactive. So, if you like getting attached to characters like in Stardew, this one leans more into that side. Number 5, we have this potion permit. This one, we're just going to switch things up a little bit. So, instead of being a farmer, you're actually a chemist. So, the people in town come to you with problems, and you have to gather ingredients and make potions to help them. You still explore, collect resources, and build relationships. But instead of crops, your focus is curing people. It still has that small town vibe where everyone has their own personality, and as you help them, your relationship with the town improves, so it keeps the same little cozy feeling, but just as a different role. And now, number 6, we have Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life. This one is actually one of the original inspirations for Stardew Valley. So if you play Stardew, a lot of the systems will feel very familiar to you. It's like the farming, relationships, and building a life in a small town. But this one focuses more on a long-term life progression, like building a family, watching your character grow older, and seeing changes over time. It feels slower and more life-focused compared to Stardew. So if you like the everyday life aspect of Stardew Valley, this one is what I would recommend for you. This Dave the Diver. This one is also a little bit different, but it still fits like that same gameplay loop. So instead of farming, you're diving underwater to collect fish and resources, then running a sushi restaurant at night. So the gameplay loop is still like collect, manage, upgrade. It's just in a completely different setting, okay? It's really satisfying because everything you collect directly affects your business. So even though it's not farming, it still gets the same progression feeling as Stardew Valley. Here we have is Traveler's Rest, and this one is like Stardew Valley, but instead of a farm, you're running a tavern. So you grow the ingredients, cook food, and serve customers, and you're constantly upgrading your tavern and making it better. It still has farming elements, but everything you do feeds into your business. So it's more focused on management while still keeping that cozy vibe. So if you like the idea of like building something like your farm, then this one will give you a very similar feel. Number 9 on this list we have is Moonlight Peaks. This one's an upcoming game and it's basically Stardew Valley, but with vampires. You're still farming and building relationships, but the setting is darker, a little bit more on the supernatural side. So instead of a normal farm life, it has a more gothic and fantasy elements. It keeps the same core gameplay, but changes the atmosphere completely. So if you want something similar, but visually and thematically different, this one stands out to me. At number 10, to wrap things up, we have the last game. This one is called Grave Seasons. This one is also upcoming and it mixes farming with mystery. So it looks like a normal cozy farming game at first, but there's actually a darker storyline that's happening, including like secrets in the town, and even like a serial killer element. So it takes the Stardew formula and then adds tension and mystery. It still has farming and relationships, but there's also something deeper going on in the background, which makes it feel a lot more different while still having like very familiar vibes. So there are all 10 games I will be talking about in this video. Let me know down in the comment section below which one do you like, which one do you want to try out. And if you have tried any of these out, do let us know down in the comment section below your thoughts on them. If you have any more recommendations of games that you think are like Stardew Valley that you love, then I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye.